Hey everybody, what is going on? Smiles here with Gamer Smiles. I know, long time no see. I am super excited to be back. We were just preparing for the King of Dragons tournament as an online competition on Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I'm super excited to prep the team. Really surprised I actually had time to prep a team for this. It's a singles battle, but use 3 out of your 6 Pokemon. And you can actually use one of the box legendaries, so like a big legendary like Necrozma, Mewtwo, Xerneas, Groudon, those types of Pokemon you can have at least one of those. You can have up to one of those on your team. So big things happening. And of course, I mean, we got a crown, right? Shout out to the employees at Burger King that were super cool with me getting this. I just randomly walked up there. It's like, hey, can I get a crown? So we got a crown ready to go. The King of Dragons. My hair looks terrible, but that's okay. We are royalty today. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get ready to rock and roll. Some exciting news. We actually have a new intro video for our battles coming up here. So without further ado, I'm just going to be quiet and y'all enjoy the new intro video. Hey everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed that intro video, and if you did, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to throw that in. I was really excited to work on that and get a new intro for our latest season of Pokemon Battling. For those who are just tuning in, we're going to hop into the King of Dragons tournament coming up, so I'm really excited to do that. But before we begin, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a quick rundown of the team I'm using for this tournament. And so I have them registered here. And so this is actually kind of fun. I played this a little bit on Showdown, but yeah, really excited to bring this here. So we have Quagsire, the Vigilant, and Quagsire, No Skull, Toxic, Recover, and Stockpile, Unaware. So the idea behind this Quagsire is that it's supposed to be very defensive, very bulky, and it doesn't care about setup sweepers or weakness policies or any of that stuff. It's just supposed to sit there, take hits, stockpile like crazy, and then recover that HP as the opponent either loses its health thanks to Toxic or to Scald. Corsola has been a Pokemon I've used in many teams. If you've ever tuned into this channel, y'all know my girl, or in this case my boy Corsola, really pulling its weight here. This Corsola is a little bit different. Instead of light screen, I opted, oh, my face actually covers it, but this is actually Stealth Rock that you're seeing here. And so the idea behind this is to help kind of discourage switches, break focus sashes and things like that. We also have Tapu Fini. I actually made Tapu Fini max speed and decided to give it Trick with that Choice Scarf, making it super fast and being able to surprise the opponent with some surprise hits there. And also kind of thwart some more defensive Pokemon by tricking them, making it easier to deal with them. This also works really well against Geomancy Xerneas. Xerneas would have to be stuck out there for a turn, and it really can't do much. So if I call that correctly, I can trick my Choice Scarf on that Geomancy Xerneas. Then, as Xerneas charges up, switch into Necrozma, and then set up there. I haven't gotten to Necrozma yet, and I'll explain a little bit what Necrozma does. And here we are, Necrozma, Duskmane Necrozma. I lost to this in a previous tournament, and I was like, wow, this is really good, and so I decided to adopt and get one for myself. It's a very busted and strong Pokemon with Dragon Dance, Sunsteel Strike, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. The main thing here is that I can use Dragon Dance to boost up my attack and speed if I need to, but Sunsteel Strike, Earthquake, and Rock Slide are really strong on their own right. With Prism Armor, makes it easier to activate that weakness policy. I take little damage from super effective attacks, and with Steel and Psychic, I attract a good amount of hits would be super effective against me, giving me a great opportunity to just set up right then and there and just slam my opponent with really strong attacks. We also have my own Rillaboom. I've used Rillaboom in a couple of different places, including doubles, but I decided to bring this into singles as well. Grassy Glide, Swords Dance, Knockoff, and High Horsepower. Rillaboom tries to capitalize on Pokemon who might be more passive. And so I can use that to opportunity set up Swords Dance and then Grassy Glide Knockoff to remove items and High Horsepower. Rillaboom also helps kind of negate other terrains, making it easier to use. Oh, and last but not least, I have the Regieleki. Regieleki is kind of an interesting choice. I don't use it too often in my playtest, but the main thing here is set up Reflect, set up Light Screen, use Thunder Cage if I want to do some damage, and chip the opponent, and then Explosion to get out of there and send in something like Necrozma to finish the job there. So, more rare, but Regieleki helped in a couple of matchups, especially with that blistering fast speed there. So, without further ado, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown of the team. We're going to hop in here and get some battles on. By the way, you guys are listening to Rukunetsu, one of my absolute favorite video game remixers of all time. So, definitely feel free to, let me load just a tad. But feel free to give him a follow. I know he's on Twitch as well. I need to get shoutouts better integrated on this for sure. But Rukunetsu is an amazing, amazing artist, and I highly recommend y'all check him out. He's great. So I just tested one battle right before to register the team, and so we're gonna get at it. Hopefully we can keep on winning. You can play up to 15 battles per day, so that's a lot. I don't know if we're gonna do all 15. That might be a lot, but we'll see how far we can go. And, oh, by the way, this is Coca-Cola, just in case you guys are like, what's that bottle? I just want to make sure that we're clear about that. So the opponent actually uses Zacian as their box legendary here. And we have Pheromosa, Blacephalon, Urshifu, Lapras, and Metagross. So this does look pretty good for Quagsire. Quagsire does enjoy most of these Pokemon and facing off against them. The one Pokemon I do need to be mindful of is that Lapras. Lapras does have an opportunity to really hurt Quagsire with that Freeze Dry. That also kind of causes a little bit of trouble with Tapu Fini. But I think what I can do here to help discourage Lapras is utilize Regieleki first, right? So have Regieleki come in, be able to use Thunder Cage, maybe set up Light Screen, Reflect, and then have Quagsire. Once I deal with Lapras, I think the rest falls into place here. Quagsire would be really great, and then Necrozma can take on a super effective hit and be able to knock things out. I could also use Rillaboom, but I feel like, again, the ice moves are what I'm really worried about here. And Zacian doesn't really seem to pose too much of a threat. Really, it's just to try to stop my opponent from snowballing and going from there. So let's see what we can do as we get into this battle. Alright, so the opponent is going to go ahead and start off with Pheromosa. Pheromosa having that blistering high attack and blistering high speed. Regieleki actually outspeeds Pheromosa. So I think in this case, I'm just going to use Thunder Cage. I should get it close to its Focus Sash, and then the extra damage should be enough to break it down. So get an early knockout here if the Pheromosa decides not to Dynamax. So we are going to get the Thunder Cage. It misses, of course. The first hit of the evening is a miss, and we get a knockout. What can we do? What can we do, ladies and gentlemen? Unfortunate there, but it is what it is, and we will be knocked out right then and there. The boost comes in. Is it an attack boost? It is an attack boost. I don't think I'm too worried bringing in Quagsire. And I think the opponent would have to now lead into whatever, like the Lapras to help counter this. So we're going to bring in Quagsire. I'm going to predict that my opponent is going to try to bring in Lapras. So I am going to use that opportunity to use Toxic here. So Pheromosa actually goes for another close combat. Does a decent amount of damage, actually. So I wish I did go for Scald. Did not expect it to stay in. Something tells me it might be choiced. And so that might cause a little bit of problems here. But we'll see what we can do here. So Pheromosa is going to be badly poisoned. I do get to recover thanks to the leftovers here. But I guess the opponent is not looking to play this in the long run. I guess that's a little bit different compared to Showdown play. Cartridge, a lot of people don't usually play for the long run. So we'll see what will happen here. We're going to get another close combat. That means Pheromosa is at that +2. So that will be pretty dangerous here. The special defense and defense dropping is not going to make a big difference here. But we are going to get another Beast Boost. That Beast Boost is going to increase that attack. So we are at Pheromosa at that +2. Toxic isn't really going to be helping too much. It broke a Focus Sash if it existed. But something tells me that Pheromosa most likely is Choice Banded. Or something like that. I'm just surprised that it didn't want to switch out. But anyways, we'll go ahead and bring in Necrozma here. And let's make some magic happen. I think what I want to do is I do want to set up Max Steel Spike now. Get me a defensive boost and use that to my advantage. Alright, so I'm going to Dynamax. The opponent decides not to Dynamax here. +2 is actually going to hurt a decent amount. I don't know how much damage it's going to do, but we'll see. We shall see. Hopefully we can be able to mitigate the damage that Pheromosa does and make this work for us. But this is going to be a little bit tricky for sure. So Pheromosa does go for that close combat. Ooh, yeah, I take a lot of damage there. Over half. That's not great. We will be getting this knockout, but it might be a little bit too late. Oh, man, that Thunder Cage miss at the beginning really did hurt, let me tell you. If I had Reflect Up, I think that would have been a different story. Made it easier to deal with a lot of the opponent's teams, but yeah, we'll see. We shall see. They got 2 Pokemon and we got 1, so, and I'm pretty sure they would have prepped for Necrozma. Let's be real here. Alright, so Lapras is actually going to be sent out here. Lapras can easily set up something like Aurora Veil. I don't know. I feel like I want to max... I could max Rockfall, but it could be weakness policy. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use Max Quake. I got to look at this from the long run perspective. Yeah, so the opponent is going to Dynamax here, naturally so. Great call out here. We'll have to see what Lapras decides to do. So Lapras is going to Gigantamax. Probably going to set up that Aurora Veil. And if I was Lapras, I'd probably do the same here. I don't need to rush through to get all my hits in. I actually go first. Ah, man. So I mean, maybe this does help out, because I do get the Max Quick off. I actually am faster, so that's good to note. And Lapras does go with G-Max Resonance, so the Resonance did pop in. I think in that case I might have won with 2. I could have probably done a lot more with 2 hits here. So we are gonna get the Aurora Veil popping in. Max Rockfall now, I could potentially do that. You know, why not? I should have done it the first turn. I think the combination of 2 Max Rockfalls would have been enough to take on Lapras. But I did it way too late. Lapras actually Max Guards, so not a big deal here. I probably would have slammed Max Guard as well. So, no biggie. And we are Dynamax now. Now, Max Steel Spike. Alright, some Steel Strike ignores abilities, but it doesn't ignore anything else. Earthquake, and then there's Rock Slide. Can't flinch Lapras. I guess my question is, could I survive one more hit? I am going to fire off a Dragon Dance. This is a little bit of a cheeky play here. But really, I think it's kind of down to the wire. I don't think I'm going to be able to break through this. And it was just unfortunate. That Pheromosa, oh, that hurt. Max Geyser, that's going to do way too much damage. I don't think that's oh, it's not enough to knock out. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So I am actually able to survive the Max Geyser, which is nice to see. And hopefully with my Dragon Dance, Sunsteel Strike doesn't miss. It hits 100. I get super effective coverage here. Yeah, why not? I mean, that's the thing. I'm at 18 HP anyways, so any hit's gonna be enough to knock me out. So might as well just go for the bigger. Of course! Of course it would miss. That is just our luck here, folks. And, oh man, any fighting chance. I wish I had at least a damage calculation there. But hey, first match. Happens, it happens. That Pheromosa took us for surprise. And unfortunately, with these battle competitions, you don't actually get to see the opponent's team. So we won't be able to see what the opponent was carrying. But something tells me it might have been a choice band. I will continue. It didn't outspeed Regieleki, so it seems like a choice band. But yeah, unfortunate there. If I did went for Skull, I think that would have been enough to really put Pheromosa in a tough spot. We could have worked from there, but yeah. Or even Reflect. It would have been nice. We could have then set up Light Screen the next turn. You know, kind of played it more defensively rather than offensively. And missing on the 2 hits I needed. The 90 accurate moves, we hit that 10% on each of them. And that's what happens in Pokemon. You can't complain. Alright, so we have our opponent having Yveltal, Landorus, Regieleki as well, Lapras, Amoonguss, and Ditto. Ditto very popular as a choice card for here. I do like Tapu Fini a lot. I think Tapu Fini does a lot of work on Landorus and Yveltal. I think the challenge, and it can also work on Amoonguss. My Tapu Fini actually does have Ice Beam, and Trick also like hurts Amoonguss. And with the Misty Terrain, it does help out. I think the main problems I'm going to have to face with are Regieleki and opposing Ditto. Maybe. I think Corsola actually can help kind of move at first, right? So we can use Corsola to kind of slow things down. It does cause a little bit of trouble because Yveltal is out. Yeah. Yveltal also has... Oof. I mean, I think the tricky thing is Yveltal, right? I'm going to try Regieleki one more time. I feel like we can make it work. Then I'll bring in Tapu Fini and then Necrozma at the back. I think with Regieleki, the main thing here, setting up a flag, setting up light screens, being able to help survive some of those hits, and letting my other Pokemon be able to maximize that. Yveltal also is a great candidate for weakness policy, so that's just something I have to be mindful of. Alrighty, so we are going to be taking on this Japanese player, and curious to see what this player is going to bring into the fray. So we're going to see Yveltal come in first. So I am glad I decided not to go with Corsola. That would have been dangerous way too quickly. That would have escalated. So we are going to bring in the Regieleki, Dark Aura activating, really powering up those dark moves. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up Light Screen for now. Not really worrying too much about Yveltal rampaging quite yet. I think we can work around this for now. But yeah, I am glad I decided not to win in Corsola. That would have put me in a bind there, so that great decision there for now, but we'll have to see what happens. Yveltal decides to Dynamax. Man, everyone is going big early on, let me tell you. This is really different from Showdown when people are a lot more passive. But so Yveltal decides to Dynamax. This actually can help. I can use it to my advantage to... yeah, I can trick Yveltal. I can... Yeah, we can find ways to make this work. So we are going to set up this Light Screen. Light Screen is going to make it easier to survive a lot of these attacks here. And then we are going to get the Max Darkness popping in. Max Darkness is going to do a lot of damage here. Close to a knockout, not exactly a knockout here. I think what I want to do actually is waste Yveltal's turns, right? So right now I can use Explosion. And that way, basically what's going to happen here is I blow up. I do a decent amount. I faint, and Yveltal wastes its Dynamax turn. Use Max Airstream, try to get that speed. It's not going to get that speed. With Tapu Fini, I bring in Tapu Fini. Now the opponent's thinking, okay, what are you going to do? You're probably going to use something like, you know, a Fairy-type move, and I'll be able to absorb that. But the thing here is I'm actually just going to use Trick. Taking away that weakness policy, making it easier to do with Yveltal in the long run. So we are going to trick it. That means Yveltal will outspeed, but I will take the weakness policy as expected. I did not want to deal with that. And I take that I take that attack, the max airstream, decently well here. Yveltal does increase its speed, but at this point, that speed increase is not a big deal. And Yveltal is back into non-Dynamax form. So we're going to go ahead and fire off a Moonblast here. Let's see what happens. We can make things work and make things happen. Yveltal most likely is going to use Oblivion Wing. Okay, so it's going to withdraw, going to try to figure out how to work with Yveltal in the long run. And the opponent is going to bring its own Amoonguss. Okay, I'm not too worried here because I actually can deal with Amoonguss in different ways. So I am going to go ahead and hit with that Moonblast. Not very effective. I lower that special attack. That is helpful. And Amoonguss does not reveal the Black Sludge. So curious to see what Amoonguss has, but now that I'm freed from the weakness policy, of that I'm freed from the trick, I can use Ice Beam. So I am going to stay in, I'm going to fire off this Ice Beam. Does a decent amount, Amoonguss does handle that decently well, and Amoonguss goes for a Foul Play, so not really effective here. Doesn't do too much here. Okay, this actually gives me a great opportunity. I could bring in Necrozma, or I could try to hit Amoonguss again. I feel like I want to hit Amoonguss again. I think the problem here is that Amoonguss wants to, I do see that Amoonguss wants to wear off the Misty Terrain, but I feel like if I can knock out Amoonguss, it makes it easier in the long run. So we are going to get this super effective attack with that Ice Beam, and here comes one more Foul Play. Amoonguss is just staying in with it. That would have activated my weakness policy, and Prism Armor would have made me be able to survive that more, but the opponent decides to keep Amoonguss in, so that actually helps out a lot. While Misty Terrain is going to disappear, eventually, we're getting closer to the turns that, yep, it disappeared. Dealing with Amoonguss and getting it out of the way is going to make it easier to deal with Yveltal in the long run. So Yveltal is going to come back here, and now I am free to fire off these Moonblasts once again. Yveltal is going to have to lock itself in a move, so depending on the move it locks itself in, it might not like the end results here. So it does go for that Dark Pulse. I am glad it decided not to switch out. Chances of flinching could happen, but we don't get the flinch and we get to fire off this Moonblast. So looking great here. No, ooh, so much damage. Light Screen is over though, unfortunate. So I will be taking a little bit more damage with these Dark Pulses, but the nice thing here is that it does set us up. No flinches, right? Yes, we don't get a flinch, and we're able to knock out this Yveltal. This is looking great. That trick really paid off, making that work. I'm so glad we went for that. That was amazing. That was great. That really did set us up for success there. And we do see the Landorus, the last Pokemon. Landorus, perfect opportunity. I'm glad Landorus is coming in now. Intimidate kicks in, but honestly at this point, Intimidate's not a big deal. In fact, I'm very happy that it was Tapu Fini that took the Intimidate, because now Landorus can't lower the attack against my Necrozma, and the opponent just cancels, doesn't even see my Necrozma. And we get that cancellation, we get that victory. Woo! Looking great, the Dragon King, yeah, on his throne. So that was fun. That was a fun battle. I think that Light Screen really did pay off, and I think we did make Regieleki work. And great call out on not winning Corsola that fight. I think Corsola would have kind of crumbled there. It would have been really tough to work with. Alright, so we got another battle. I honestly don't know how to say that. We just copyrighted and everything. Another Yveltal. So Yveltal becoming a very big Pokemon, very popular. We have Tapu Fini, we have Landorus, we have Cinderace, we have Porygon 2. Oof, Porygon 2 is not a fun Pokemon to fight against. And we have Zapdos. Now, actually, the nice thing here is that because my own Tapu Fini is Choice Scarfed and can learn Trick, that might actually help deal with Porygon 2 in the long run. Porygon 2 being Choice Scarfed really can't do much. I do like Quagsire. I think Quagsire actually feels a lot better in this matchup than the last one because of Lapras on that threat there. But I don't know if I want to lead with it. I think leading with Tapu Fini first and then having Quagsire kind of figure things out, and then having Necrozma at the end. So that's kind of how I'm going to play this, let Quagsire come in later, and then we can kind of work from there. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Quagsire actually works well against Porygon 2 as well. Toxic damage is going to rake up, and I can use Stockpile and things like that. So against the Porygon 2 matchup, I feel better with Quagsire as well. So the opponent is going to lead off with Landorus. So that's great to see, and I am going to bring in Tapu Fini. Now, here's the thing. It seems obvious that I'm going to... Well, it doesn't necessarily seem obvious, right? Landorus could be Choice Scarfed as well, so that might be something we have to deal with. But we will have to play... I'm trying to think. If I was my opponent... If I knew you were Choice Scarf, I'd switch out. But what would I switch out to? The only Pokemon that you can naturally switch out to comfortably is Cinderace or Tapu Fini. They all get hit by Ice Beam. I mean, Porygon 2 can also take the Ice Beam. I'm going to call out that my opponent doesn't really see this. So Landorus actually goes for a U-turn. So Landorus is, we do know Landorus is Choice Scarfed. That is good to know. So Landorus is going to go ahead and retreat. And we are going to get the next Pokemon coming out. Most likely it is going to be that Cinderace. So we are locked into the Choice Scarf here, unfortunately. We do get the Yveltal, so not the worst. I do fire off this Ice Beam. I think the challenge here is that Yveltal does get this free Weakness Policy, if it is Weakness Policy. Super effective. Yes, the Weakness Policy comes into play. But against Quagsire, I feel like we can make this work to our advantage. I think in this case, I am going to go ahead and fire off another Ice Beam here. I don't think the opponent knows I'm Choice Scarfed yet, but they are going to Dynamax here, trying to get that up in HP. Now, if the opponent goes for something like Max Darkness, I think we're going to be in a better spot here, but it really depends on what my opponent thinks to do here. So Yveltal is going to get that boost, but against Quagsire, I do feel confident we can survive a lot of these attacks. So I do get to go first. I fire off that Ice Beam, looking good there. Yveltal does go for the Max Airstream, as expected, and that will be enough to knock out Tapu Fini. So while Tapu Fini is knocked out, I don't think in the long run, I think in the long run I set myself up for success here. I mean, based on what I could do. Alright, so what we need to figure out, though, is just how strong this Yveltal is. So I feel like in my first turn, we are going to go ahead and fire off this Recover, and then depending on how much damage this does, we might need to fire off a, yeah, so we are going to see that Max Darkness. That Max Darkness is going to do a decent amount, I'd imagine. Yeah, ooh, that did way too much. I was not a fan. So I do lower my special defense, but I will get off this Recover, so hopefully that will help stave off some of these attacks here. I get a good amount of HP restored, and I do get some leftovers recovery too, but yeah, the tricky thing here is that, yeah, I don't know. I'll fire off one more Recover, let's see what happens here. But yeah, we are taking a lot of damage. Max Darkness kicks in. Yeah, that's enough to knock out Quagsire, so critical hit on top of that. So Quagsire, unfortunately, just cannot survive that. The Dynamax turns for Yveltal are over, and I do have Necrozma. So, not looking too bad here. I feel better in this kind of juncture. I think the challenge here, though, is that does Yveltal look at this and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and try to knock you out now? Or does Yveltal say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and switch into something like Landorus? So, kind of looking at this, I could get Landorus to switch into it. Porygon 2 could also come in, and Cinderace could. Zapdos could also come in. But I feel like in this case, I have a good opportunity to fire off Max Steel Spike. This should be enough to knock out, and I feel like Yveltal would be overly confident that it could knock me out in one turn. So, I am going to call that out right. Yveltal decides to stay in, and I am going to get this defensive boost with that Max Steel Spike. So I am glad I went for Max Steel Spike here. So, the Cosmic comes in, I get to Dynamax, but really the question is how... I survived descending well. That's why I waited till Dynamax is over. So we're going to get the Dark Pulse. It does a lot, actually. Super effective, but we do activate my own weakness policy, so we get a trade-off. Weakness policy blows here. Of course, the big kahuna of big Pokemon, you usually use weakness policy. We are going to get that Max Steel Spike. Not to knock out Yveltal, but depending on what my opponent has, the rest can be a little bit tricky here. Yveltal is knocked out. Excuse me. Misty Train is away from the field. So the opponent could try to play something more defensively to try to survive my onslaught, but it will be a little bit harder. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Landorus come into play, and then I can Max Steel Spike that Landorus. We are going to see the Cinderace come into play, so Cinderace... Okay, what would Cinderace do? If I was Cinderace, what would I do? I could do Pyro Ball. I think in that case I would probably use Max Rockfall. So we get Pyro Ball. Pyro Ball misses. Wow, we got lucky on that. and I get to fire off this Max Rockfall. So if Cinderace was Focus Sash for any reason, I get that for free. So thank you. I appreciate the Pyro Ball miss. That does mean a lot. This does break the Focus Sash in case it was, but it wasn't. It was Life Orbed. This doesn't really do too much here. And the last Pokemon is that Landorus. So I think in this case, I'm just going to fire off one more Max Steel Spike, and we can close out the game. Landorus is going to use that Intimidate to lower my attack, so Landorus could survive this next attack, but it is Choice Scarfed, so it has to use Earthquake here. Landorus does go for that Earthquake, does a lot, so if I don't knock it out here, then it's game over. We are going to fire off this Max Steel Spike. Let us see, can we get this knockout? Yes, we do! And the Cosmo comes in with the reverse sweep! Lucky on that Pyro Ball. If I was my opponent, I think the way I would have played that would have actually have been bring in Landorus. This is how I would have played it. Bring in Landorus, U-turn, bring in Cinderace. Then, Landorus comes back in. That's it, lowers my attack all the way down to neutral, making it easier to survive attacks, and then using that Earthquake. So, that might have been a longer way to play it, but I think the opponent was really banking on Pyro Ball to hit. I mean, it happens. The opponent did play flawlessly up. I mean, they did. I think they did. Alright, Calyrex Spectrier is a tough Pokemon to deal with. That also does discourage Corsola a little bit. Although I do really like Corsola against a lot of the opponent's team, especially against Rhyperior and Cinderace. It is just going to be a little bit harder to mess with there. I think one thing I can anticipate, Rillaboom could do some work. I think the one thing I could use Knockoff that help deal with Cresselia. Cresselia sets up Trick Room. I see that happening. Yeah, it's just harder to know, like, I think, Calyrex does know grass moves anyway, so that will make it harder for Quagsire to come in. Tapu Fini could Trick. I think that's kind of helpful, but yeah, this is a little bit harder to call out. I feel like Rillaboom could survive at least one attack from Spectrier and Calyrex, and then use Max Darkness, and that might be enough to knock it out. I kind of like that play. Rather than using Necrozma, using Rillaboom as the end game. So I am going to bring in Regieleki and Tapu Fini, and let's see if Rillaboom at the end game is going to be the one to clean this up. Yeah, and that's also helpful too. I could use Trick on the Rhyperior. Things like that. This is going to be a little bit of a tougher match here for sure. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Spectrier just feels, or Calyrex and Spectrier just feel very scary to deal with. I don't want to deal with that as Necrozma. Calyrex as one has activated. Unnerve makes it harder to eat berries. And then the Grim Neigh doing a lot here to kind of discourage just immediate hits here. So we are going to set up this light screen, making it, helping us survive some of these attacks here. And we are going to see the Astral Barrage! Ooh, this is a tough attack. How much does it do? It does close to half. So I think in this case, I am going to fire off a Reflect, knowing that I will be knocked out next turn. This will help kind of survive some of the other attacks going forward here. So I get to fire off this Reflect, and Psyshock comes into play, going after the defenses actually. So I am glad I did fire off that Reflect to deal with it in the long run. So Calyrex does get that Grim Neigh, increasing its special attack. So I guess the question here is, do I feel that Rillaboom, the knockout for sure will knock it out, but I could probably, that's what I'm thinking. I think what I want to do here is Dynamax now, right? So I'm going to bring in Rillaboom. Okay, Grassy Surge comes up. I'm going to Dynamax now and try to hit with this Max Darkness. And Max Darkness just doing a crud ton of damage. Really just putting Calyrex in a tough spot here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Trying to think of what the opponent would switch in. It would be like Cresselia. The opponent actually decides to Dynamax as well. Probably going to activate its own, probably going to do something like Max Phantasm or maybe Max... I could see the opponent using Max Mindstorm In that case, I don't think it's as scary. Because as long as I can survive one attack, I think we're going to be put in a good spot here. So we are going to Dynamax as well. Rillaboom is going to try to respond to this. And dealing with Calyrex as one. Whew. The Spectrio Calyrex combo is a scary one indeed, let me tell you. Alright, so here comes Rillaboom. And then once we do knock out the Spectrio and Calyrex, that makes it easier for us to... Oh man, I'm so tiny compared to them. So we are going to see the Max Mindstorm as expected. Totally fine here. I take that like a champ, which is awesome to see. The light screen really paid off there. And I think that's just going to be helpful so much in the long run. So I get to fire off this Max Strike, and it is 4 times super effective. Can we get this knockout? We get the knockout. Oh, thank goodness. And let's go. Calyrex is knocked out with that. And that is just a huge weight off my shoulders. I am very happy to see that. Actually, kind of thinking about it, Necrozma could have worked after I did that. So, not a big deal. I think that Tapu Fini does add value here. So Cinderace is actually going to be coming in. Thinking if I was Cinderace, what would I do? I'd probably use Pyro Ball. I could probably survive one, and then I can respond with a Max Quake. So we get one Pyro Ball. I do survive. I get to activate the Yap. Okay, so we do see the Life Orb activating. I don't activate my Yappa Berry, unfortunately. We will fire off this Max Quake. That should be enough to knock out Cinderace. So we get 2 KOs already. This is great. This is looking awesome. Critical hit on top of that, just really driving that point home. And Rillaboom gets that special defense increase, and I get to knock out Cinderace. So, really lucky I thought through that of like, okay, Calyrex is a big threat. Dynamaxing this time was perfect, and we do get Rhyperior at the end. Rhyperior most likely is going to be holding that weakness policy, so I think in this case I'm actually going to go ahead and switch out and bring in Tapu Fini. I don't want... I can make it to where Rhyperior is no longer a threat. And I feel like I can do that with tricking the Choice Scarf here. It is a very odd play indeed, but I think it can help out in the long run, especially if Rhyperior is like, I'm going to try to protect to make it work in the end. Rillaboom has already done its job. It's gotten the 2 knockouts I need. The drum solo isn't necessary to get this knockout. So we are going to bring in Tapu Fini. This does activate the Misty Terrain, so Psychic Terrain is no longer on the field, but I mean, didn't really make much of a difference. And I'm curious to see what Rhyperior is going to do here. So we're going to get the Stone Edge. Stone Edge fires off. Doesn't do too much damage here, so that's great. I'm just going to fire off this trick. And so depending on what Rhyperior does, this is going to make it a lot easier to deal with it in the long run. We're going to get an Earthquake. We get the weakness policy, and we get the Earthquake. Perfect! Rillaboom will eat that alive, and it barely do any damage afterwards. So now we can just fire off this Surf. Hands food, not a care in the world. Rhyperior is going to be super slow, and this 4 times super effective, and it doesn't do anything. I just get the knockout anyways. But just really guaranteeing that knockout there, guaranteeing that victory. Woo! There we go. We defeated Spacey. That was great. Oh, that was scary. That was definitely scary. But yeah, I was very glad we exploited Calyrex's 4 times weakness against Dark. That was really helpful there. So, just goes to show you don't even need a Necrozma to make a victory there. I think Tapu Fini was the perfect choice to just give it the Choice Scarf, take away that weakness policy in case it survived for any reason, and just end the game there. So, great battle. That was awesome. That was awesome to see. Alright, our another opponent is on the field. Let's see what we got. Oh, the Necrozma. No, not the Necrozma. The Eternatus. I do know what Eternatus can do. I've actually built a team around it. Eternatus is a very big and scary Pokemon indeed. It can use things like Toxic and be very defensive with Cosmic Power. The challenge here is that Quagsire can hit through it, but it can't really break through it. It can ignore the Cosmic Powers, but it can't work around that. So that can be really tricky if Cosmic Powers get powered up enough. Necrozma can actually ignore the Toxic, so I am glad to see that. But I do need to be mindful of if Eternatus gets too bulky here. Corsola actually looks really great against a lot of the team. I can set up Stealth Rock early. I can then kind of use that to my advantage. I think the one thing I do need to be mindful of is Porygon 2, but Tapu Fini actually can work well against Porygon 2. So I feel confident with Corsola, Tapu Fini, Necrozma, using that to kind of slow things down. Ditto won't like to deal with Corso that much. It only gets Stealth Rock off, which in the long run won't be as helpful. I think it helps with the opponent if they are going to switch in constantly. That will help out a lot. And then if I actually trick Eternatus, that actually would be helpful too, because Eternatus, yeah, it can't poison Tapu Fini either, which is nice. So, because of Misty Terrain. Yeah, if I keep Misty Terrain up for the longest time, then, excuse me, it'll help not worry about that. So, here we are. The opponent is, we're going to be facing off this opponent. This opponent is going to start leading off with the Galar Champion. We have Eternatus, the Galar Champion. I love the Love Ball in it. That's kind of cool. Versus Corsola here. So Corsola and Eternatus are off. They're going to be facing off against each other. I would imagine Eternatus would probably use Toxic now. So I am going to call that out. And, okay. As far as Eternatus, I probably would look at this and say I could use Toxic now. If I bring in Tapu Fini, I'll be able to absorb that Toxic and not worry about it. I think the one thing I do need to be mindful of is if Eternatus does carry an actual poison move. That will be the problem here. So I am going to reveal the Tapu Fini a little bit early, but I think I'm going to help I'll bring Corso back out to help kind of mitigate some of the toxic things that we're going to see here. So Toxic does come out. I do protect myself, and I am going to bring in Corsola back out here to make it easier for I think Eternatus might use this opportunity to use a poison type attack. I kind of want to learn a little bit more about it. So we are going to bring Corsola right back in the fray. We're going to see the Cosmic Power activate. Yep. Eternatus using those incredible defenses to make it extremely bulky here. I am going to go ahead and fire off a Stealth Rock here. We're going to see another Cosmic Power. Alright, so we do fire off the Stealth Rock to make it easier to be a little bit defensive. I think Eternatus is thinking, I'm going to outlive the Misty Terrain, and then I'm going to go ahead and fire off my Toxics. I'm ready to play this for the long run, folks, so we don't worry about that. Eternatus is going to fire off one more Cosmic Power, but what we're going to do here is we're actually going to say, you know what? You're going to have to live with a choice card for the rest of your life. And you like that, buddy. So I am going to fire off this trick here. And I'm not going to care. I'll have to take a Black Sludge, but you know what? I'll take a little bit of that damage. So we are going to get this trick, and that means Eternatus is just stuck using Cosmic Power. So with that, I mean, really, it just puts itself in a tough bind as Eternatus decides to switch out. I will be taking a little bit of damage from the Black Sludge, unfortunately, but it's a price to pay. Alright, Eternatus is going to be done with that, so I think it does get to choose its move now. So if I was Eternatus, I'd probably use Toxic. Eternatus decides to stay in. I am going to bring in Necrozma, the Alolan champion. And this will hopefully allow me to set up. So we are going to see another Cosmic Power. So Eternatus is going to be committed to setting up his Cosmic Powers. But really, this is not a great move set for it. The opponent does see my entire team. But yeah, I think in the long run, they have to switch out, but I get a free Dragon Dance up. Eternatus is just going to fire off another Cosmic Power, so that's totally fine. I think that, well, in the long run, I'll just power up my Dragon Dances just to be insane amounts of power, so, yeah, okay, that's fine. So now they have to switch out, and unfortunately, that means I get 2 Dragon Dances because they did not see that. So they are going to switch out. Maybe it's Landorus. So we are going to see Landorus. Yep, I figured as much. But that means I just get to be at +1 attack. Which is not a problem whatsoever. So with this +1 attack, I am going to fire off this Dragon Dance here. Dragon Dance is going to give me a good boost. I will be at +2 speed and +1 attack here. And so I think now I could probably, let's see. If I was my opponent, switching into Ditto would work. switching into Metagross would work. If I fired off Max Rock Slide, none of them would resist except for Metagross and Ditto. I could just fire off a Max Rock Fall now. I can use the Sun Steel Strike. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold off on my Dynamax for now. I'm just going to fire off the Sun Steel Strike. So, this might be enough to knock out, actually. So, we are going to fire off the Sun Steel Strike. I didn't feel confident going for the Dynamax immediately. Just in case my opponent became a little bit crazy. So, good I decided to do that. That will be helpful in the long run. Eternatus is back, so I think in this case it's going to be a little bit hard. Okay, so Stealth Rock comes in, we get pressure, and I guess the idea here is like, what would the opponent switch into if they were trying to bait something? Max Quake actually just hits everyone, so I'm just going to do that. I feel like at this point, with 2 Dragon Dances under my belt, we should be able to handle this well. Eternatus has to the only thing Eternatus can do to threaten Necrozma is use Flamethrower, I'll take that like a champ. I have 2 Dragon Dances on my belt under it anyway, so I should be outspeeding like crazy. So yeah, we get the Flamethrower. I take that like comfortably, and thank you for the nice little weakness policy boost here. And I get a Fire Off X Max Quake for free. That's going to do a lot of damage. The only thing I can think of is that the opponent brings in Ditto. But really, I think that Ditto would have to Dynamax, and that means we trade off Dynamax attacks. So we do see the Ditto, so that is the opponent's long-term plan here. Imposter does allow it to become Necrozma immediately, and they will probably Dynamax that Ditto. Okay. This will be interesting, because I believe that Necrozma, alright, let's see, if we look at the info, Ditto gets +3 attack, +2 special attack, it gets the speed defense, and it gets the speed. If it's Dynamaxed, it will outspeed. But if it doesn't Dynamax, it won't outspeed. So I should be able to survive one of these. Yeah, that's what I figured. And the thing is, it won't have a weakness policy. So I am glad I decided, hey, you know what, I am going to attack it. So, there we go. Awesome, there we go. And I think that was awesome, really, just to shut down Eternatus. Man, we did a lot to get that happening. The switching from Corsola to Tapu Fini, switching Tapu Fini back to Corsola, setting up the Stealth Rock, and also then switching back to Tapu Fini using Trick, taking that Black Sludge, and eventually setting up the Dragon Dances in the long run. The opponent learned about my team, but they didn't learn enough about my moveset to make that happen, so that was really good. I think the opponent was expecting me to just immediately attack, and like, I know what Cosmic Power can do, okay? Trust me. You saw my team. I had a Quagsire, for goodness sake. So, alright, so it looks like we are facing off against another Eternatus, including, we also have Metagross, we have Celesteela, ooh, that's a tough one, Gastrodon, Landorus, and Ditto again. So, looking at this one, so changes a little bit from last time. I really did like the Corsola Tapu Fini dynamic. I think actually I do feel like it can work. I think the one thing I need to be mindful of, Celesteela does actually scare me a lot. So, if I can get rid of Celesteela and not have to deal with it, then I think we're going to be in a great spot. It is going to be a little bit tougher to do that, though. So, I think for now, we'll try it out. Maybe I have enough to discourage Celesteela? I'm not sure. The opponent seemed to choose their team fast, so probably not. I'll be real. But let's see. Tricking Celesteela actually would be helpful. If we give Celesteela the Black Sludge, that actually would hurt. So we can see what we can do here to make that happen. So the opponent is going to lead off with Gastrodon. So not bad. I'm not as opposed to having a Gastrodon lead. And I have my Corsola. So I am going to go ahead and use Stealth Rock. Let's go ahead and get that set up first. And we'll kind of play around with that. Gastrodon does fire off Yawn. So we are going to be getting a little bit drowsy. Oh, sleepy. Oh my goodness. Gastrodon probably could set up something like Stockpile. But I'm kind of curious because Gastrodon doesn't do anything like, yeah, Gastrodon doesn't do anything like, yeah, it's Sludge Bomb. Yeah, and also, like, Rillaboom actually discouraged it a lot. So, Yawn comes into play. Not a big deal here. I get Drowsy, but I take that like a champ because, Misty Terrain. And so, I am curious to see what the opponent is going to do now. It is going to withdraw. And do we get Eternatus? Maybe if we do, we'll get lucky. Yes, we do! Yes, we do! Yes! I am very happy to see this. Because that means that Eternatus will have to take an attack from me. And I get to fire off this trick here. I will be taking Eternatus' Black Sludge, unfortunately. We'll be taking a little bit of damage. But the Choice Scarf actually is going to hurt it in the long run. Curious to see what it does. But this will be helpful to kind of really understand what to do in the long run. I'm going to fire off this Ice Beam. Maybe do some chip damage here. But again, I just want to see what this Eternatus is going to do. Yeah, Trick Tapu Fini has been really great. Shutting down a lot of strategies it's been instrumental for sure. Okay, Eternatus is going to withdraw here. I do need to be mindful if the opponent is going to do something kind of cheeky, like switch into the Eternatus to get the Black Sludge back. So I'm not going to give him that opportunity. I am going to go ahead and fire off this Ice Beam here. I will be taking that damage, unfortunately, but you know what, Tapu Fini, it's okay. You're doing great work, honey. Let's go ahead and bring him back. Corsola, yeah. And I can probably fire off a Nightshade or two. Tapu Fini is going to switch out. We do get Corsola. And Gastrodon switches out, yep. I figured that something like this might have happened, so I wanted to deny my opponent the opportunity to get that. Stealth Rock kicks into play here again, which is great. And yeah, I think at this point, I'm just going to fire off a Nightshade. Oh, but the Misty Terrain, they forgot. Unfortunate there. And that actually sets me up for success. Because that means that the only thing you can do is switch into... You can either switch out, or you can switch into... you can either stay in and use Toxic, or you have to switch out into a different Pokemon. So, this sets me up for success here. I can use Necrozma to come in. Hey, what is up, Infinite? How you doing? Great to see you here. Perfect. That means that Necrozma is going to be taking that like a champ. And you can either stay in, which you're not going to, or you'll switch out. Stealth Rock does damage. The opponent canceled! Oh my goodness! And wow, Tapu Fini really paying in dividends with the cancellation. That wasn't necessarily a rage quit, but you know what? I think that it's worth it to get that rage quit bumper. We got to bring that in. Oh, that was so much fun. Oh man, Eternatus definitely made it work really well. And yeah, Trick Tapu Fini coming in clutch there. I think with Necrozma coming in, I could have set up Dragon Dance and then probably would have proceeded to sweep the team from there. So we'll go ahead and continue battling, but yeah, that was great. That was amazing. Yeah, Trick Tapu Fini has really come in clutch to shut down Eternatus and just make things a little bit easier. Especially because my team does attract a lot of, hey, you should use Toxic, and it's nice to be able to tell, oh, I want to use it, and I don't want to use it. Oh no, Gwen! Gwen doesn't have many strong Pokemon, folks! She only has the Torkoal, the Rotom Frost, and the Druddigon, so, oh man, Gwen, no, girl, no, don't do that. Okay, well, I guess what I'll do is I'll set up, she doesn't have a full team ready. Okay, I'll bring in Regieleki, I'll bring in Tapu Fini, and I'll bring in Necrozma. I feel like at the end of the day, I'm just going to hit with Necrozma. She's just here for the battle points, that's totally fine. And I don't blame her. I think that's totally fine. If Gwen wants those battle points, she's more than happy to get those battle points. That's fine. This will be a one-match Gwen, I think, but... Yeah, okay, I feel so bad, because you don't have a great team. And this is not gonna be good for you. Alright, so you send in Druddigon. And you're gonna have to face off against, like... I'm making you fight 3 legendaries. That's what I'm making you do. I'm a terrible person. I'm not going easy on you. I have picked Pokemon that can beat you. I am that much of a jerk. I'm really sorry, Gwen. Oh my goodness. I'm a terrible person. Chat, am I a terrible person for doing this? I'm not going easy on this person. I am full-fledged in my Burger King crown. I'm going at it. I'm using Reflect. You're gonna use Superpower, which isn't gonna do too much here. Oh my gosh, that was pitiful. And I'm a hasty nature. Oh my gosh, Druddigon, no. What are you doing? Oh no, I feel terrible. This is not great. I'm a terrible person. And I'm just gonna sweep you. Okay, Druddigon switches out. Okay, Rotom comes in. Okay, maybe something good can happen here. And I've set up light screen, so... Okay, maybe you can do something. I'm gonna fire off the Thunder Cage. It's not gonna be effective. But whatever. Oh man, I feel so bad. I feel terrible. So I fire off the Thunder Cage. We get to see it. It's not very effective, but it's the chip damage. That's nice. Rotom sets up its own light screen. Okay, this person is at least trying to fight back. Let's go. Let's make this happen. There we go. Okay, I like this. At least the person is given a fighting chance. Setting up its own Reflect. Yes. Okay, I get to fire off another Thunder Cage. Not very effective, but it's that chip damage I'm looking for. Rotom fires off Blizzard. I take that like a champ. Thunder Cage does good damage. So I think I'm going to explode now to just take down Rotom with me. Oh man, I know, I got, okay, cool. I knock out Rotom, I knock myself out, so we're both going down. We're going down to a little light, and sugar, we're going down, sweetie. I'll be your number 1 with the bullet. Alright, so Necrozma isn't ready to play, and then we have Torkoal come out, so... Okay, not too bad here. Does Torkoal set up the drought with the sun? Oh no, Torkoal's not even... Oh no, Torkoal doesn't even have, drought-powered eruption. Doesn't even have the drought ability. Oh no, I feel so bad. That's terrible. But you know what? We don't go easy. I'm sorry, Gwen. If you wanted to really play the dragon, that's the Tournament of Kings. If you really want to play and get far, you gotta bring the good stuff. And Torkoal ain't it. Torkoal ain't it. I mean, Torkoal with drought, maybe. I think they're definitely good Pokemon that could use it, but I ain't going easy. I'm bringing all the guns here. We got that Timer Ball Necrozma. We are Dynamaxing it. And we are going to go to town, wrecking shop here. So, I am so sorry. I am a terrible person. But, excuse me. I will not take it easy. Okay. You're going to put up a fight. I like this. This is good. Let's do it. Let's go. Torkoal is going to come out. With that, it's going to Dynamax itself. So I like this. I am glad I went for the max Quake to help survive some of the especially defensive attacks. Alright, so we are going to fire off that max Quake. This will be a very strong attack. It might be enough to knock out. Nope, not yet. But that's actually worse for you. Because that means guaranteed I'm going to get this weakness policy up. You're going to fire off that max Flare. It ain't going to do enough. It's not going to do enough. Oh my gosh. Oh. Y'all saw that, right? Y'all saw that. We got to get a damage calculator. Because, like, I don't know what move that was. That did... Okay. Would have been 88. So 20. Oh no! Oh, I feel so bad for you, but oh, we actually did get the rage quit. Hang on. What was that damage? It was 381, right? You know, I was at 408. So 88 would have been 20. So it would have been. So that would have been 20. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, she did 27 points of damage with that max flare. Oh, bless her heart. Bless her heart. Aw, poor thing, poor thing. But I don't know if she gets the points then. I'll continue battling. I mean, it's the dragon. I mean, that's the rule set, you know. It is. You can use those Pokemon. I didn't take it easy. You know, so unfortunate. But Gwen should have just stuck it out. Should have stuck it out. But oi, that hurt. Okay, so we have another. Ooh, this opponent is also using Regieleki and Quagsire. So very interesting choice of Pokemon here. We do see the Yveltal. Yveltal does make it a lot harder for Corsola and Necrozma to play, and also Mimikyu in the fray. So a little bit harder for me to kind of be able to deal with those two. So I do like Quagsire. I do like Quagsire a lot, actually. Tapu Fini actually has been doing really well against the Yveltal matchup. I feel like Tapu Fini does really well. Most Regielekis go in for the lead. So if I put in Quagsire and kind of slow down and dictate the pace of the game that I want to dictate, from there I can make it work. So I feel like I can use Quagsire, Tapu Fini, and then Necrozma at the end of the game. Thinking about Rillaboom, I don't think Rillaboom... Yeah, it's mainly the Yveltal is what I don't want to use Rillaboom against. Yveltal has max Airstreams, Yveltal has Oblivion Wing, making it a lot harder for Rillaboom to make a difference or make a dent there. So I do feel confident with this. If I get Yveltal out early, then we can move from there. So the opponent is going to lead with Yveltal early. That's great to see. And we're going to bring in Quagsire. Regieleki also would have been a great choice here. But I think with having Quagsire, I can do things like Toxic, maybe Stockpile. But I think I'm going to use Toxic. I think the one thing I want to do is make it a lot harder for Yveltal to really respond in the long run. The opponent is going to Dynamax here. I'm not going to survive more than 2 of them with these attacks, which is totally fine. I think it's just more of like, how much damage can I do, and really put Yveltal, like, basically, if the opponent's only big answer to Necrozma is Yveltal, then we should be able to do great work here. Yveltal does go for that max strike-ness. Oh, it's just a flat-out knockout? Oh, gee, that's not great. Life Orb. Interesting. Okay, so it's not weakness policy, which is good to see. This is going to be an interesting way to play it, because what the opponent can try to do... Okay, so it's Life Orb. That's probably why. It could muscle through because of the Life Orb. I am kind of worried, though, because if it's Life Orb... I'm trying to think, how can I deal with... I might be able to still outspeed with Choice Scarf. We'll see. I'm going to fire off 2 Moonblast. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so I get 1. Does a decent amount. Okay, that's good to see. Low that special attack. We like to see it. We like to see it. Cool. That lowered special attack was clutch. Let me tell you. That gives me a chance to survive 1 more. The opponent reveals the Life Orb. That damage is going to do great, but I think the main thing here is, does Yveltal have... Okay, it does outspeed, unfortunately, and the Max Airstream does go fire off, and that does mean that Tapu Fini is knocked out. Dang it, unfortunate there, but... Ooh, that was good. The lowered special attack is going to be helpful in the long run here. Life Orb does kick in, but that lowered special attack is going to be helpful. I think the challenge here kind of lies in the fact that it could bring in Mimikyu now, but I do get that special, I get that defensive boost. Let me see what, the opponent also had Ditto, right? Yeah, the opponent has Ditto, and it has Quagsire. Okay. I think what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and steal Max Steel Spike. If the opponent brings in Ditto, what's going to happen? Okay, the opponent does not decide to switch out. So we most likely are going to see, probably what's going to happen here is the opponent feels confident that it can get off one Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse isn't going to do too much, but it activates my weakness policy. I start slamming. The opponent brings in Ditto. But the nice thing here is that Ditto can't Dynamax, right? So if I can survive another attack, then we're in a good spot. So we're going to get the Dark Pulse. I take that like a champ. It did a lot of damage. But we are going to be able to get that weakness policy off. Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a little bit tougher. I mean, I could get the reverse sweep, but I think the challenge here is that Quagsire does a lot. The Scald would actually be problematic if it comes out at the right time. Urshifu also causes problems. You know, there's a lot of different factors that can come in here. We do see the Urshifu. That's a Wicked Blow. You could be Focus Sash, so that actually could be problematic. I am going to go for another Max Steel Spike. And hopeful that I can at least... Yeah, I'm going to have to deal with a Wicked Blow. That is going to do a lot of damage there. That critical hit. But I think the problem is going to be if you have that Focus Sash. You do. Oh, that's not great. That is terrible to see. Urshifu does hang out with that Focus Sash, and there's no way I can get chip damage going on. I think I'm going to fire off a Max Quake just to get myself a special defense boost here. But that Wicked Blow is going to be enough to... oh, I'm down to 18 HP. Ooh, that critical hit hurts. But we're going to get this Max Quake. That's mainly for that special defense boost, and Urshifu is knocked out. The challenge here is that if Ditto comes in, then it's game over. But if it's Quagsire, we might have a chance. Actually, we don't, because Quagsire, we're going to ignore all my boosts. Ditto would be a problem. Mimikyu's already a problem. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's a lot of Pokemon. It really just boils down to what I think I lost. Yes, Ditto. Ditto has enough speed and 18 HP. I can't survive that. So we're going to see that Necrozma come in. And, yeah, I'm going to have to deal with getting swept by my own Necrozma at the end game. So I'll be able to use Earthquake, but it's Choice Scarf, and it will be able to outspeed. That Life Orb was an interesting play, and I think it was a great call out there. I think Life Orb on the Yveltal was great to really mitigate, really power up the damage there. Yeah, for sure. Kind of blue playing that. I think Regieleki would have been a better spot, would have been a better Pokemon. I would have used Light Screen, I would have probably then used Reflect, and that would have been helpful in dealing with it in the long run. And then I still would have had a lot of turns where I've just wasted a lot of Yveltal's moves. So I will continue battling. It was a good fight, but I think, yeah, just really, I think that was a problem. I was expecting weakness policy. I should have gone for Regieleki instead of the Light Screen and Reflect. Alright, so another opponent has been found, and we got a battle against a player here. We got another Yveltal, Zapdos, Tapu Fini, Hippowdon, interesting choice. Definitely with the Yawns, the Stealth Rock. Rillaboom, which is a great Pokemon, and Mimikyu. Yveltal has become really popular, which makes sense. Xerneas used to be pretty big, Necrozma counters Xerneas, Yveltal really touched the damper on Necrozma. So, I think... Yeah, Corsola, I don't like Corsola and the Yveltal and Mimikyu matchup. I think I'm going to play it a little bit differently. I am going to actually use Regieleki this time around. I'll bring in Tapu Fini and I'll bring in Necrozma. And I think between those three, we should be able to clean this up. Rillaboom can become scary, for sure, against Tapu Fini, 100%. We just have to work through that. That's just something we have to figure out. Alrighty, so... Here we go. Let's see what the opponent has in store for us. And we are going to see the Yveltal. Okay. So, Yveltal has become, every time we see one in Team Preview, has always become a very popular choice here. Luckily, I will be able to outspeed and fire off this light screen, and that is very important. I do want to do that. Helps survive some of these attacks and makes it easier for Necrozma in the long run to deal with things. I would be curious to see Yveltal do something like Tailwind or another move, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case here. So you actually see Sucker Punch, which was interesting. So I do get to fire off the light screen. So, okay, so Sucker Punch. Okay. Okay, so Yveltal is going to start Dynamaxing, so we got to try to survive 3 turns of this. That does mean that we have light screen up for 4 more turns after? Yeah, around 4 more turns after, I believe. The 3 turns... No, wait. Yeah, we get 4 more turns of light screen after the Dynamax. So that actually is going to be helpful for Lord. So I'm okay with that. Alrighty, so we are going to fire off this Reflect here. And Yveltal is going to go for that max airstream. It will get a higher speed here, but it won't be doing too much here. Something tells me Yveltal is weakness policy. Nope, it's Life Orb. Okay, cool. It revealed it. That is good to see. In that case, I will fire off the Thunder Cage. I do not mind at all. That does a lot. That's great to see. Yveltal is trapped, but it probably didn't want to switch out anyways. We're going to eat up a max strike'ness. I don't survive, which is totally fine here. And I do take damage there. Yveltal does lose HP with the Life Orb, but unfortunately doesn't lose HP with the Thunder Cage. And we do get Tapu Fini out. Tapu Fini will be able to... It won't outspeed, I don't think. Not Life Orb. But Tapu Fini will be able to do a lot of damage here. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and fire off a Moonblast. Let's see what happens. Yveltal fires off a max airstream. I take that handedly. Thanks to the light screen here supporting me. Life Orb does a lot of my work for me too, and I get to fire off this Moonblast. Oh, I get the knockout! That's great! A critical hit on top of that. So I will take that. I'm happy to take that. And Yveltal is no more. That's going to make it a lot easier to deal with the opponent's other Pokemon as well. Especially with Necrozma. I'll be able to not have to worry about Yveltal really doing a lot of damage. Zapdos is going to come out here. Zapdos exerting Expressor, but the opponent still doesn't realize I'm Choice Scarf. So I get to fire off another Moonblast for free. So we're going to fire off this Moonblast. Let's do some good damage here. Does a decent amount. And we are going to have to take this Thunderbolt. So not a big deal. Tapu Fini did... Oh, I get to survive with 4 HP. Let's go. That means 1 more Moonblast. Making it even easier to deal with Zapdos in the long run. And I get to fire off this Moonblast. Lower that special attack. That's great to see. And Zapdos fires off Roost. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I think it's trying to wear down my light screen turns for sure. But the lowered special attack is going to help out in the long run. Zapdos does get the Roost off. Interesting. Okay, that's -2 special attack. I like that. We do get the Thunderbolt finally out. Okay. So Tapu Fini is going to be knocked out here. I believe Light Screen is over. Light Screen is over. And Misty Train is gone from the field. So that means I only get 1 more turn of Reflect, which is this last turn. But the thing here is that if Zapdos decides to... So a couple things. Zapdos could Roost here. And I could go for a Max Quake. That's a little bit dangerous. I'll go for the Max Rockfall. It will be a strong enough hit, I believe. Especially because Zapdos will be at -2. Yeah, and it's a little bit kind of iffy. If Zapdos decided to do something like Yeah, it could have done something cheeky like switch out, and so this is a better play here. So we are going to Dynamax here. Zapdos probably is going to do something like Roost. But with Necrozma, I could have also done it where I Dragon Dance. So that also was a play. Dragon Danced one turn, and then guaranteeing that you can overpower the Roost here. But it doesn't look like Zapdos has any berries kicking in, which is nice to see. Zapdos is probably going to use that Roost, yeah. But the Max Rock Pulse should be doing a decent amount of damage here. It might actually be able to knock out. Let's see. Yeah, I get the knockout anyway, so... Yeah, I think it was the better, safer play. I think that was a good call. Max Quake would have been nice. I mean, it would have gotten that special defense, but... You know, if you decided not to Roost, that would have been problematic. Zapdos does survive. The Reflect is over. But, I mean, I'm at full health. You don't have Dynamax anymore. And it is Mimikyu, which isn't great for you. So I'm going to fire off this Max Steel Spike. You've already used up your Dynamax. Mimikyu is going to use that Swords Dance. That actually puts you in a really tough bind, because I'm going to fire off 2 Max Steel Spikes here. So I get a +1 in defense. Your next attack, Prism Armor, will help me survive it. And so that's great too. You will be taking damage thanks to the Sandstorm as well. So, yeah, this is just... I mean, it's not looking great for Mimikyu. It could have weakness policy. Now that could have been another play, but it doesn't look like it has weakness policy. Alrighty, I get to fire off 1 Max Steel Spike here, and yeah, I just need to survive 1 attack. Oh, it uses Phantom Force. Interesting. That was an interesting tech play. I like that a lot. Max Steel Spike, it does a miss. Mimikyu does take damage there, and my Dynamax is over. So the question here is that can I survive a +2 Max Steel Spike? A +2 Phantom Force. Something tells me yes. I think I can survive 1. Yep, that's all I needed. There we go. Definitely the opponent's best chance at winning this. A critical hit would have been enough to have knocked me out, for sure. That Prism Armor coming in clutch as we get the Sunsteel Strike. Boom! Power throughs and knocks out Mimikyu. So, great match overall. Really, Tapu Fini coming in clutch and Regieleki again. So really just dealing with Yveltal so early on made it a lot easier for the rest of the team to come in, clean up, and do what they needed to do. And the opponent's Zapdos couldn't break through the light screen. That was super helpful, getting some extra turns in there. Couldn't really break through a lot of the attacks there. So, hey, it looks like we already got 10 battles in. I think we can get close to getting all 15 before the end of the evening. Let's go for it. Alright, so we got another trainer up, and curious to see what this team is going to be. Alright, interesting. Oh, we got Dialga. Oh, Dialga is a definitely tough one. I've not faced a Dialga before in this competition, so it will be interesting to see how we have to fare against Dialga. Dialga usually is known for being specially based. Quagsire likes everyone but Rillaboom, which is probably why the opponent packed Rillaboom, was to deal with that. Corsola can help deal with Rillaboom, but Rillaboom has knockoff. I don't really have flying offense. If I had Zapdos, that would be one way to deal with Rillaboom, but I don't. Okay, let's see. Cresselia, I can use Rillaboom's knockoff. I could probably... Ooh, Rillaboom actually would be kind of nice. I could use some of the turns. Blaziken will most likely try to use Speed Boost, but it depends on if the opponent sees that as necessary. So, I feel like I do like my own Rillaboom. I feel like my own Tapu Fini could be helpful too, of like tricking, and then finally Necrozma. This does put me in a little bit of a bind here. Because I'm not using Regieleki, Dialga really does exert a lot of pressure. Let's be real. But we can try to make that work to our advantage. Dialga also will most likely carry a weakness policy. It just feels like it would. Like there's no doubt that it does. And if that's the case, I'm gonna throw in a Choice Scarf. I'm gonna give it to it. Yeah, actually it's fine. I mean, I know it'll outspeed the Tapu Fini, but. Alright, so Rillaboom is going to be sent out, and I bring in Tapu Fini. Most likely the Rillaboom will be activating its own Grassy Surge here for me, which does put me in a bind. Rillaboom, that actually is a little bit interesting. Because if we call this outright, Rillaboom could call... My Rillaboom does no Swords Dance, right? And so bringing in a Necrozma actually can be dangerous, because then the Rillaboom can use Swords Dance and then use Max Quake, right? That's how I would play this. That's exactly how I would play this. So I'm actually not going to give it that opportunity. I'm just going to fire off an Ice Beam. Okay, so it just goes for the Grassy Glide. That's fine. You know, I try to be cheeky, try to outplay you, but it didn't work. However, now I can do my own thing. I'm going to set up my own Swords Dance here. Yeah, I thought, I mean, I was trying to play this cheekiness of like, oh, maybe it's the same set as mine, but I should have just figured it wasn't going to be the same set. So Rillaboom goes for its knockoff. Oof, I didn't take... Of course it would be critical hit. Come on, man. Okay, so I get a fire off their Swords Dance, which is nice. So that's good to see. I think the opponent's seeing Rillaboom is faster, unfortunately. Yeah, I didn't invest any speed, so I think it might have some speed investment. We'll see. That's kind of a jerk move, though. It is a jerk move. Yeah, and losing Tapu Fini that early isn't great. If Rillaboom switches out, though, then that will be great, because then I can get a knockoff on something else. I think the opponent's trying to figure out, like, what would my Rillaboom do? Rillaboom doesn't really have a great attack against itself, so it'll be interesting to see. The opposing Rillaboom decides to Dynamax. Oof, that is, you hate to see it. But I wonder why. I wonder what it's going to get. Alright, so we do see the Max Rillaboom. I think what it's trying to do is it's trying to call out any shenanigans and preventing me from doing too much here. Rillaboom does go with... Oh, dang, that actually is going to hurt. That's super effective. That's enough to knock me out. Dang, okay. Because that's U-turn. That was good tech move. That's good. That's good. Alright, Rillaboom is Dynamaxed here. So we can put in Necrozma. Necrozma, what would Necrozma... Necrozma, well, Max Darkness, you would Max Darkness, I can then Max Steel Spike. Okay. So we'll do that. And go from there. This will hurt a lot, though. I will be taking a lot of damage from this Max Steel Spike. Oh, Max Darkness. It can either Max Darkness or Max Quake, one of the two. Personally, I prefer Quake. Because Quake would make it easier for me to deal with the rest of the team, and it doesn't gain a benefit from Rillaboom. Darkness would lower my special defense, which in the long run isn't great. But, dang it. I was too cheeky of like, oh yeah, it's going to be the same set and everything. I should have just played it straight. I honestly should have. Gujo would have also been really great against this Rillaboom, but, you know. Yeah, Gujo's hard to fit on this team. Actually, no, Selfbest Gujo actually would have been nice. I'm trying to think what it would have replaced. We're going to see the Max Knuckle. That's a smart tech. I like that a lot. But not as scary, because then I can just use, Protect the next turn. Oh, well, it doesn't matter, because my Max Steel Spike buffed my defense anyway, so any defensive buffer you would have gotten from, the attack boost that you gotten won't be enough to outpower me, because I'm going to use Max Steel Spike again. Yeah. The only thing you can do is Max Guard, but you're not. You're going to use Max Darkness, so it's not neutral. I take that like a champ. Thank you for the weakness policy boost. Yeah, it's the special defense drop isn't fun, but the weakness policy boost is nice. So at +2. Yeah, I'm able to knock out Rillaboom, which is nice. And then it's just like, can I knock out one more Pokemon in Dynamax, and then outside of Dynamax, can I handle things, you know? Luckily, Grassy Terrain actually gives me a nice little benefit here. Oh, it ended. I guess that's nice. I guess I get to maximize it, but the opponent can't use it anymore. You'll see, though. I mean, Necrozma is a formidable force, but it might not be enough to knock out everything. And that lowered special defense isn't great either. So Dialga could cause some trouble here. Yeah, it's taking a while. Don't tell me the opponent's quitting. I think they're thinking. They're thinking. They're trying to look at this in the long run. Okay. Okay, opponent does send out Cresselia. Interesting. Cresselia. I can't use Max Quake. I'm at +2. You know what? I'm going to fire off that Max Steel Spike. I think it's the best play. But what would you switch into? You'd switch into Blaziken, you could switch into Hippowdon, and you could switch into Dialga. Right? Those are kind of like your big... Like... But I don't think that, like... I'm at +2, though. Okay, so Cresselia is going to actually set up Calm Mind to try to boost up its special defense. Okay, I respect that play, and its special attack. So I expect this play. I don't think it's going to pay off in the biggest run, though, because, like, what attack would you have? You wouldn't really have that much. See, I'm close to knocking you out. Is that Keyberry? Yeah, that's a Keyberry right there. That means that its defense has been increased. Not a big deal there. I'm at +2. That means I'm at +1 now. The Sunsteel Strike should be enough to knock you out here. So I'm just going to fire off that, and let's keep on going. Yeah, Moonlight comes in, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough. You're not going to get all your HP back. I mean, you get a good amount, but, like, this is a base 100 steel attack, so it will be interesting. I could have Dragon Dance. I think what I'm going to do is if you survive, I am going to Dragon Dance. Okay, I am going to Dragon Dance next turn. I don't think you would want to attack. I don't think you'd want to attack yet. You could use Calm Mind. Okay, use Stored Power, but Stored Power is going to be pretty weak. Okay. That's actually great. That means that I get a free Dragon Dance off. And that just makes my attack even stronger, and I get that +1 in speed, just in case any of your Pokemon could have outsped me. Maybe that will just give me one little edge there. So, I am glad I went for that. Just a little buffer there. Yeah, Necrozma is a force, let me tell you. And I get to fire off this Sunsteel Strike. Yeah, I'm losing a lot of power points with the Sunsteel Strike, but really, I mean, I also have Earthquake, which is going to be stronger against a lot of the opponent. I'm at +3 now, so that's great to see against pretty much anything. That's just going to be a strong attack. And Dialga comes out to play. Alright, here's the big one. I'm going to fire off this Earthquake, but Dialga could be slower. But can +3 be enough to knock out Dialga? It is! Woohoo! Oh, that was scary. We found it. We found it. The Dragon Dance was clutch. That just helped kind of solidify that. Oh my goodness. There you go. Woo! And that's the power of Necrozma. We lose 2 Pokemon, he takes it all the way back for the victory, you know? Yeah, I was very lucky on that. That helped out a lot. So it was a good fight. Yeah, Necrozma is just a force. It is an incredible force of a Pokemon. And I'm very lucky we had to deal with Cresselia at the end game. Because I was afraid it was going to be like a whole like Moonlight thing. And him picking Stored Power did actually help out. Just in case it did. Alright, so we actually Kyurem Black is a very interesting Pokemon to use in this juncture, but I respect it. I respect it. I respect the Kyurem Black. I think it's cool. Alright, anyways, back in the game. We have Tapu Fini, Landorus, Grimmsnarl. Ooh, Grimmsnar's, we're gonna see those screens come up, you know what I'm saying? We have Pheromosa, Heatran, and Kyurem Black. I like Necrozma. I feel like Necrozma can help deal with a lot of the Pokemon. It's just getting them at the right time, making it easy, and then going from there. Kyurem Black doesn't have Freeze Dry, so that's nice. So Quagsire actually does pretty well against a lot of the team. But does it do well enough to justify use? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Corsola does help out a little more, though. Corsola can use things like Stealth Rock and Strength Sap, and it can actually help slow down Kyurem. So I like Corsola. You know what? I like Regieleki in Corsola, because Regieleki could outspeed some things, and then Necrozma at the end, yeah? Set the screens, and then Corsola can kind of slow things down when I need to. So I think that would be helpful. Grimmsnarl will most likely taunt, so that's also something I need to be considerate of. And so I can use something like Thunder Cage to kind of punish Grimmsnarl, and then maybe use Explosion or something. We'll see. So we're actually going to see Landorus lead off first versus Regieleki. So Landorus actually won't outspeed, but it doesn't hurt to get the Reflect off now. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off the Reflect. Most likely he's going to either use U-Turn or he's going to try to use Earthquake here. So it actually sets up Stealth Rock. Great call out there. And I'm going to fire off the Light Screen. Luckily, once Regieleki is done with this job, I really don't need to do too much here. We're going to fire off the Light Screen. And we get the Rock Tomb, actually. So interesting check there, trying to lower my speed. But at -1 speed, I think I still outspeed a lot of Landorus. So I'm just going to fire off Explosion. I think Regieleki has done its job. And we should be good. And if I survive, that's even better. So it has Rock Tomb. So I actually do get to outspeed here with the Explosion. That 200 base speed is no joke, let me tell you. Does a decent amount, which is awesome to see. And Regieleki is knocked out here. Critical hit, that's why. That's nice to see. We do see an opposing Rock Tomb come out. But it fails. Alright, so here's the thing. Do I bring in Corsola now, or do I bring in Necrozma? Feel like I can bring in Necrozma, try to do as much damage as possible, and then bring in Corsola at the end game to deal with everything else. So we're going to bring in Necrozma. Trying to think, Landorus will naturally outspeed. If I can survive one attack, then I can easily go for a Dragon Dance. I could attack already. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So looking at the Pokemon, I wouldn't be surprised if Landorus decides to switch out. So it does go for the Earthquake. I'll take one. Oh, I take that handedly. And I am glad I decided not to Dynamax just yet. Just to give myself as many Dynamax turns as possible. So that was great to see. So we get to fire off the Sunsteel Strike. And with all the Light Screen and Reflect up, that is just going to be so helpful. Ah, Rocky Helmet. Interesting choice. So Necrozma actually took a lot of damage from that exchange. About half HP, but I think in the long run we're going to be doing well. Alright, Heatran is out to play. Heatran does not reveal the balloon. So I am going to go ahead and just Max Quake it. I don't think the opponent would have any... Heatran wouldn't usually carry a Focus Sash, so... This makes sense. It's going to Dynamax now. He's probably going to try to fire off a Max Flare. if I should be able to knock out Heatran in one turn, especially at +2, 4 times weak. This Earthquake would not, it's not going to be a joke. It's no joke. So hopefully that extra HP will be enough to survive at least one attack. Oh, I actually get outspeed naturally. That's great. And that's just going to... Oh, I get to knock it out. That's awesome. You love to see it. I think the opponent was a little bit overzealous with that, but that was just... Oh, man, that really paid off in spades. Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough for the opponent to come back from this one. I honestly have no idea what the opponent can do here. Kyurem? Yeah, we get Kyurem. Okay. And that's just a free max steel spike here in this game, set, and match. Fusion Bolt comes out, but that does pitiful amounts of damage as I get a fire off this max steel spike. Even a focus sash, that means the next turn I get to knock it out. Yeah. Unfortunate there, but I think the opponent was a little bit overzealous with that Heatran, and they didn't do a good job protecting it. The light screen and Reflect really paid off there. So Regieleki coming in clutch, really helping out. That was awesome. Yeah, and also maximizing the amount of Dynamax turns. I technically didn't need to, because I knocked it out in 2 Dynamax turns, and so that was the third one. It wouldn't have been a problem, but always safer than sorry. So I think it was a good play. That was a good play. All right, wow, this has been fun. It's been a while since I've been playing. Man, I don't know how many wins most of them have been wins, actually, which is great. We're climbing up in the ranks. All right, Zacian is up to play. Ooh, Zelf is interesting, too. Zelf is really good. It's really fast. Back in Gen 4, Zelf was the premier Stealth Rock setter. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. We also see Salamence being able to set things up and really go to town. I feel like Quagsire actually plays really well against this team. Being able to set up with Toxic and really slowing things down. I do like Corsola to set up Stealth Rock. Every battle I have used Necrozma, and I feel like Necrozma still hits the team hard. I think like Necrozma does a good job. The main thing here is to help discourage Ditto. If I can knock out Ditto early or prevent it from doing its thing, I think we'll be in a good spot. So I'm going to bring in Corsola, Tapu Fini, and Necrozma. I think that having Rillaboom is enough to discourage Swampert, but I also think that we can also punish Salamence hard. Like, we can use Strength Sap, we can use Will-O-Wisp, we can use Stealth Rock. I mean, there are things that we can do here, so. And Zacian doesn't really worry me, okay, because Necrozma's Dynamax. Necrozma naturally resists Behemoth Blade, so the added power in Dynamax doesn't make a difference. Oh, Zacian would actually be more of a threat. So the opponent is actually going to lead off with Zacian. So very interesting here. And I'm going to bring in Corsola. I think what I want to do here, Zacian is going to get that +1 in attack. So kind of starting off pretty strong here. I am going to go ahead and use Strength Sap. Just going to take away from that extra power. And hopefully be able to kind of play things out. If I took a lot of damage, I can recover a lot of damage. I actually don't know Zacian's moveset that well. I EV trained one a long time ago, my own, but I used one for Dynamax Adventures and Dynamax Max Den raids. I mean, never really in competitive play or like online or anything. So yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm not too worried here. Zacian doesn't Dynamax, it doesn't have the ability to. So curious to see what my opponent decides to do, but I don't think they're going to do anything. Okay, so Zacian actually is going to withdraw. Okay, interesting. And the opponent is going to bring in Salamence. So, Salamence does Intimidate. Not a big deal. I do get a fire off the Strength Sap, which isn't bad, but it isn't great either. Because what's going to happen here is that Salamence loses its attack. Yeah, usually Salamence can't be specially based anymore. It's pretty rare. But the Intimidate's not a big deal. I'm okay with that. Yeah, so it's specially based Salamence. Okay. Okay, that's important to know. Life Orb does well. Cool. That's actually very nice to see. That means Tapu Fini will feel very happy to face off against Salamence. So Stealth Rock is set up, making it easier to deal with the opponent in the long run. I'm going to fire off the Strength Stop again just to get all my HP back. But yeah, it is especially base Salamence, which is, yeah, not that scary. I'm not as worried about that. It might know Earth Power, but even then, like, what are you going to do, right? Salamence goes for another Hurricane. Okay, I'm at 45. Ooh, I'm confused. That's not great. Do I... Okay, I disable it. Okay, okay. We like to see it. We like to see it. Can I get it? Can I get... Please. Ah, come on. This is not what we want to see there. Okay, I don't want to give Salamence just free momentum, so I am going to actually switch out Corsola into Tapu Fini. This is a little bit risky. I'm not the biggest fan of this move. But I think what Salamence would probably do is it's going to go... Oh, is Dax on live? Go watch Dax, man. Yeah, go watch him. Totally fine, dude. Pull up us on both screens. I didn't know Dax was live. Man, I would have stopped this a long time ago if that was the case. We would have been watching him. But, nah, man. Go watch him. Go watch him. We're almost done with these battles anyways. I think we have about 15 total we can do. So, we're going to go ahead and retreat Corsola. And here comes Tapu Fini. So, if we do deal with a Dragon Pulse, Salamence is going to switch out. If we do something with like maybe Dynamax uses Max Airstream, right? That could be a possibility here too. If we actually see Draco Meteor, it doesn't affect me. That means that Salamence is probably going to switch out. If Salamence switches out, what would you switch out into? You'd probably switch out into Zacian. Zacian. Excuse me. Has to take up a full surf, right? Don't think, why would Salamence stay in? And I can't take away the Intrepid Sword. Yeah. So we're gonna have Salamence switch out. Is that Zacian? No, it's Ditto. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Well, Ditto will see that I have Trick. I believe the language that the opponent has is Japanese. Most trainers that I face online usually are Japanese players. But some are Korean. This one does look Japanese, though. So we're going to see the Moonblast. Yeah, I figured as much. So, Moonblast comes out. Does a decent amount to Corsola. Critical hit there, unfortunately. I do disable it. So that means that Tapu Fini has to switch out. And that will be enough to probably set up a Dragon Dance. And then potentially start to hit my opponent hard. Okay, so we're going to set up this Dragon Dance here. And hopefully we're going to do some good damage in the long run. Oh, the opponent decides to struggle instead and just stay in there. That's a big risk. I'm going to take full advantage of that and use 2 Dragon Dances. So if you want to be that was a very cheeky play, but you can for sure. And that means I can just fire off Max Steel Spikes till Kingdom Come. Because none of your Pokemon resist it. So. Alright, so Tapu Fini is going to go ahead and withdraw for now. We are going to see the Salamence come back to play. Salamence is going to take a lot of damage thanks to the Stealth Rock. And we do get the Intimidate off. So I'm back at neutral attack. But I'm going to Dragon Dance one more time just to outspeed everything. And we're going to get... What is up? Hey, no worries, Dax. I appreciate you lurking. Especially, I know that you... Oh, man, I totally forgot that you were streaming... I didn't know when you were going to stream, so... I knew you were streaming today, but... I would have changed this up, but... Now, we've been having fun. We've been having fun. So thank you for tuning in. And, how's Cyberpunk been doing? How's that been going? I think I have 2 more battles after this before they're like, hey, you've battled enough today. So after those 2 battles, I'm tuning into your stream. But yeah, let me know how Cyberpunk's been going, man. Alright, so here's the thing. If the opponent brings in Necrozma now, nope, they don't. So I get to bring in my own Necrozma. Yeah, I could imagine. My manager has actually been playing recently, and he's been saying like it's been fun. So I can't wait to tune in and see what you've been up to, man. It'll be great. But yeah, Necrozma gets the Dynamax here. And I get to fire off a lot of its strong attacks, but it really... Oh, the opponent... Oh, this is great! The opponent has decided to Dynamax their, Salamence. And by Dynamaxing their Salamence, they have put themselves in a terrible spot. That means that Ditto cannot Dynamax, and therefore I will be able to survive at least one attack, putting it in an increasingly tough bind to win. So I get to fire off this Max Steel Spike at +1, will be enough to knock out the Salamence. It is! Yes, I am playing online. I am playing in the Dragon King Tournament, the online competition for Pokemon. And we've been winning. I think we've only lost 3 battles today, which has been awesome, which has been really great. I used this team on Showdown to kind of get a hang of it, and it's been paying in spades. It's been paying dividends, which has been awesome. Alright, the opponent is going to be sending out that Ditto, but this is actually the worst case scenario because Ditto can only use, it'll probably use Earthquake. I'll survive at least 1 Earthquake of my own. I activate my own weakness policy and then I power through and just knock it out. And I can just fire off Max Quakes because if you switch out and decide to go to, so it goes up with the Earthquake, I take that like a champ thanks to the Dynamax and the Prism Armor and all those boosts, and I get to activate my own weakness policy, helping myself outpower this Ditto. Dynamaxing their Salamence was the worst call. That was the one call they shouldn't have done, and that was all I needed. Now I can just hit Max Quake till the cows come home, and we win this baby. Oh my goodness, this was great. This is amazing. This has been really helpful. Ditto can really snowball your team for sure. But the only thing that Zacian can do now is close combat, Behemoth Blade I resist. So really, it can't do anything. It's game over here. We're going to see the Behemoth Blade. You guys get to check out this cool animation, but it's not going to do any damage. Watch. Oh, I actually did a lot more than I anticipated. That's crazy. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, yeah, the Ditto is sus, because it is an imposter. Oh my gosh, Tame, that's a great nickname for a shiny Ditto. Call him sus. I am going to, I'll be catching I have an imposter Ditto, so that is its nickname right there. Woo, man, look at that. We are doing an amazing job today. This has been an amazing match. I wonder how many more I get. Okay, so I get 2 more, I believe. Just because you get to play up to 15 per day. Yeah, this has been going a lot faster than I thought. So about 2 hours as we get to it. Also, I hope you guys had a chance to check out the new intro. I'll play it before the stream ends. So we got the crown and everything. Oh, we finally get to see a Xerneas, so Xerneas comes up to play. Oh, this guy is also using Corsola. How dare you, Matthew? That's my clutch Pokemon. Okay. Anyways. So we do see Aggron, and we do see Durant. Yeah, so if you go to the X or Y com in Pokemon, or the if you go to the VS or the Victory Station menu in Pokemon and have online, you can go online and battle people. So I usually do that quite often. I'll battle people online. It's the main content that you guys see on the stream. But yeah, thank you. That was a fun match for sure. That last one. This one's a really tough one. I know for a fact I want Necrozma, but Corsola really scares me. If I don't oh wait, Tapu Fini can help. Yeah, I can use Trick. Okay, the pieces are coming. And then Grimmsnarl. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. I'm going to use Regieleki, Tapu Fini, and Necrozma. Yeah. I feel like Xerneas, there are different ways I can deal with Xerneas. Like, and if I can call it out at the right time, we can make this work. Like, I can probably set up Light Screen, and then Xerneas isn't really going to be doing too much against I got +2 special attack. Yeah, I mean, so Grimmsnarl comes out. So Grimmsnarl is probably going to do something like, oh, I like it. This one's probably Gigantamax too if it's in that repeat ball. Anyways, we go Ascendant Regieleki. I traded it. It's a Japanese Regieleki. But I think what I want to do here is hit Thunder Cage. This Grimmsnarl is probably going to use Taunt. Yep, I figured as much. And so we're going to go ahead and, yeah, you know what? Let him taunt. Whatever. I know Prankster is a way to kind of mitigate some of the taunt. And we open up with that Thunder Cage. Going to do some good damage on that Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl activates the eject button, actually. So this is actually a team that I built recently. So this team was a team that I built via just specifically for this competition. Okay, so Xerneas is coming out to play. It probably is going to use something like Geomancy, which is a great opportunity for me to go ahead and bring in Necrozma. So I am going to go ahead and fire off this explosion here. And you might be wondering, Mountain Smiles, you're going to go ahead and just throw out, a couple do for sure. I sometimes enjoy using shinies as well, you know, it really depends. So, Xerneas does go fire off that Geomancy, the one move that Xerneas is well known for, and Xerneas is going to get that a +2 in special attack, special defense, and speed. But, of course, the problem with Xerneas and Geomancy is that it just gives me a great opportunity to use Necrozma here. Xerneas doesn't actually have a hit against Necrozma. It has to use something like Moonblast. It'll hit hard, but it's not going to do as much as you want it to. So now with the opponent using that eject button, I can fire off the Sunsteel Strike. Most likely they'll probably bring in Corsola, but if that's the case, then I can then Dynamax and fire off Sunsteel Strike. Yeah, I don't think Xerneas is going to want to stay in for too long. Interesting, Xerneas decides to Dynamax itself. That is, I was surprised to see that. I should have matched the Dynamax. But if Xerneas decides to max Guard, then I think we're going to be in a better spot here. So we're going to see the Dynamax. Okay, so we do see the Max Starfall. That is going to do a lot of damage. Ooh, it did way too much. I was not a fan. Oh, I should have Dynamax. Oi. I did not anticipate the opponent to have the cojones to stay in. But we got to fire off the Sunsteel Strike. That should be enough to knock out. So I'm okay with this. And actually, it does maximize my Dynamax turns. So I think in the long run, I was okay with that. I'm okay with that trade. Let's see what the opponent brings in next. This can be a little bit scary, but yeah, okay, Grimmsnarl's out. Grimmsnarl's probably going to do something like set up Reflect, but I should be able to knock out Grimmsnarl through the Max Steel Spike here. And it has the eject button anyways. So the thing here with the eject button is that Grimmsnarl can't, the light screen turns are only going to last a certain amount of time, right? So Tapu Fini could end the game. That's what I'm trying to aim for. Like, I don't really need Necrozma to end the game. I can have Tapu Fini do his job. You see the Sucker Punch. Ooh, I was very lucky I Dynamaxed there, because I would not have survived that Sucker Punch. Yeah, so Necrozma is, so in Ultra Sun and Moon, Necrozma can absorb Solgaleo and Lunala. So this is actually Dusk Mane Necrozma. So I use that one mainly because of the immense special physical attack it has. So lucky for us, we survived that Sucker Punch handedly. Very glad I decided to Dynamax there. And Corsola comes out. Ooh, Corsola, the last Pokemon. So this actually is great for me, because all I have to do against Corsola is use Trick at the end of the game. Corsola most likely is going to use something like Strength Sap, but it has to survive a +2 Max Steel Spike. No, it can't even survive. And it doesn't even able to use it well. Corsola is one of my absolute favorite Pokemon, and we defeat Matthew. This is what the team is designed to deal with. Xerneas is not a problem. I was so happy to see Xerneas. And that Dynamax right at the right time. I think we saved it for the right moment. playing it safe and surviving that Sucker Punch for sure. So it was very good on that end. I think this is the last battle before we end. Yo, guys, I think we only lost 3 battles total. We've been doing amazing this competition. 1648 is nothing to scoff at, so I'm feeling great. I'm feeling energized, and I cannot wait. Tomorrow we're going to be playing a couple, and then on Sunday. So these matches have been going really well. This is a fun format for sure. Necrozma is really powerful, and it's nice to just be able to know, like, okay, I need to deal with Yveltal. I know how to work through that. Oh, I need to deal with Spectrier and Calyrex. I know how to work through that, and so that just helps so much. And Rillaboom being that surprise factor against them. Kyogre is actually a new one. I haven't seen facing a Kyogre before. And we actually have Crawdaunt as well, which would be a big threat, especially against, within the ring. So Kyogre gets knocked out, Crawdaunt can come in and kind of do some crazy shenanigans. Corviknight does pose a little bit of problem against Rillaboom. But not as scary. I think what I'm trying to figure out is who do I bring in after Rillaboom? Like, I like Rillaboom against Kyogre, and I like Rillaboom against Crawdaunt. I think Regieleki actually helps discourage Corviknight. I like Regieleki to lead. So I'm going to do that, bring in Regieleki, Rillaboom, and Necrozma. You know, it's really surprising. I haven't used Corsola as much. But I guess it's because... Yeah, I mean, Dark, actually, that's one reason why the Crawdaunt is actually pretty powerful with those Dark attacks, and Mimikyu's as well. So Corsola does kind of conflict with Necrozma. Rebuilding this team, I think I would change Corsola for Porygon 2. I liked Corsola because Corsola allowed burns, and allowed strength sap, and things like that, which Porygon 2 doesn't have. But Porygon 2 does have a lot of defensive benefits. Or I probably would use, like, Goodra. Goodra would be a great Pokemon, especially against opposing Rillabooms, which would be helpful there too. But Rillaboom's not as common, so yeah, I feel like Porygon 2 could potentially do well. The problem is, I don't know if it knows Toxic. I know Chansey does. Chansey could be another Pokemon to use there too, but Chansey's lower defense isn't as fun to deal with. Alright, so the opponent is going to start off with Kyogre, and as we bring in our own Regieleki. Kyogre is going to activate Drizzle, so most likely Kyogre is going to do something like... I'm thinking Kyogre is going to go ahead and just fire off a Water Spout, so especially Choice Scarf is pretty common. Nope, it just decides to Dynamax. Kyogre doesn't have Max. I'm trying to think, like... What would Kyogre have that I would need to be worried about? I mean, Ice Beam, sure, but, like... Now for a fact, I mean, I don't think Kyogre usually carries weakness policy. Yeah. Okay, it didn't. Okay, that's fine. Now, Regieleki's knocked out. Like, that's fine. A lot of opponents, and that's the silly thing, like, a lot of opponents look at this and they say, like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and try to sweep with my one Pokemon, like their big Pokemon, and they just send it out early. But the problem with that is that they're just taking up way too much damage. Now I get to fire off a free Grassy Slide, and the opponent can't do anything about it. This might be enough to knock out Kyogre. So I'm going to just fire off that Grassy Slide. Let's go for it. The opponent would have to use... Yeah, it'd have to withdraw. What would you withdraw into? That's the problem. I mean, I kind of was putting the bind... Yeah, Corviknight? Yeah, okay. But you burned up all your Dynamax turns just for the Regieleki knockout. So not very effective there, but then I can just fire off a knockoff here. Like, I'm not as worried. So I get to fire off this knockoff. That does a decent amount of damage. The Maranga Berry's gone. And then you're going to fire off Bulk Up. Bulk Up would cause a little bit of problems for Necrozma in the long run, but I can match you with a Sword Stance here. And then we do see the Roost here. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna fire off one more Swords Dance. Why not? If I get a +4, that actually would be really strong. Okay, so we are going to see the Brave Bird finally coming out. That is enough to knock out there. So Rillaboom is going to be knocked out. Takes a decent amount of damage, but so does Corviknight. Range over. Okay. It's going to be a little bit tricky. I think I want to set up one Dragon Dance, and then I think what the opponent's going to try to do is try to survive a lot of my attacks here. They're going to use Bulk Up. That'll get them at +2. They probably have Body Press. So he uses Taunt, so that's great. I'm okay with that. Grassy Train's over. I already got my Dragon Dance, so I'm okay with there. I think I'm going to Rock Slide to try to get the flinch chance, and then I'm going to go for a max attack. So we get the flinch. Yes! That's exactly what we're looking for. Next, now go for that max Rock Slide. Alrighty, we did it, folks. We have found the way for victory. And this is going to be great. Kyogre is going to come back out, but Kyogre took a decent amount of damage, so Water Spout isn't... Water Spout isn't going to be as strong here. And that just gives us another opportunity to fire off a Max Quake. But yeah, this Max Rockfall now is going to do a lot of damage. So that flinch really paid in dividends, paid in spades there. We knocked out Corviknight. Let's go. Let's keep up the momentum, people. And we're going to make this thing happen, baby. Corviknight is going to be knocked out here. The way that the opponent can play this out is they Swords Dance with Mimikyu. Then they go and they do Phantom Force. And then I have to take a full-powered Phantom Force. Which would hurt. But I am at +1 speed. So that actually might not work. Kyogre comes back out. Kyogre resets their weather back into Drizzle. So most likely Kyogre is Choice Scarf here. So let's take a look. Yeah, the opponent can't switch into Max Quake anymore. Mimikyu? Crawdon. Okay. So not a big deal here. I get to fire off a Max Quake. And that actually brings down Crawdon back to its Focus Sash. Which is totally fine here. That just means that Crawdon is probably going to use something like Knockoff. I'll still activate my Weakness Policy. And I get to fire off one more Max Quake to be very defensively inclined. It just fires off Aqua Jet. That doesn't do too much here. And I get to fire off one more Max Quake. So, being very mindful not to activate my own Weakness Policy, which I respect. I think it was a good play. But hopefully with all of these max, the special defense buffs will be helpful in Necrozma surviving Kyogre, for sure. Alrighty. And so now it's Kyogre versus Necrozma. And Kyogre will have to use like a probably Origin Pulse here. I think this is the best shot that Kyogre had to defeat me. I get that +2 in special defense, and as long as I can attack Kyogre and get this knockout, then we can do it. We're going to see the Water Spout, actually. Water Spout does a decent amount. We survived that handedly, so the next Water Spout isn't going to be enough to knock me out. So we're looking great. We fire off this Earthquake. And we knock out Kyogre. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. There we go. And just dealing with Kyogre was so helpful. Regieleki coming in clutch with that Thunder Cage. And, you know, even Rillaboom kind of being a little bit cheeky there. But that flinch. I knew that's what we needed. We knocked off the Moranga barrier with Rillaboom. And we got the one flinch that we needed to make it work. Let's go ahead and hit continue battling unless they tell me I can't otherwise. Oh, I get another battle. Okay. We'll do one more. I think we'll do one more, and then we'll call it. Alright. One more fight. Let's make it a good one. Let's make it a good one. Cool. Interesting choices here. We have Zacian again. We have Lapras, Regieleki, Salamence, and Landorus, and Ditto. Now, this team screams weakness to ice, which makes it easy for Tapu Fini to prey on. However, Regieleki and Lapras both discourage Tapu Fini with the electric moves and freeze dry, respectively. So if I can find ways to play around that, we can make it work. I do like Necrozma. I think it's a great choice here. Do I use my own Regieleki? Do I use my own Quagsire? I'm surprised I haven't used Quagsire as much, to be honest. But there isn't as many setup sweepers that I've seen. And I think Quagsire, Lapras really threatens Quagsire. So I like Regieleki, I like Tapu Fini, and I like Necrozma. I think that's going to be our move here. Yeah, it's going to be the last match. I'm going to switch it over to Daxman. My throat's a little bit tired too. But we've been having fun, and we'll play a lot more tomorrow. I got the crown still. I got the dragon crown. But we got to make it a win, right? Let's hear it. Oh, this is Coke, by the way. I just want to make sure that you guys knew that we don't drink on stream. But yeah, okay, Regieleki versus Regieleki. That's hilarious. We get the boys hanging out here, so good to see it. I think I'm going to fire off a Reflect first, just because I probably don't need to worry about light screen as much right now. Oh, look at them bouncing in unison. Doop, doop, doop. Okay, so I do outspeed. I do fire off the Reflect first, and the opponent does go for a Thunderbolt. Ooh, that does a lot. That's what the Power Transmitter does. Regieleki reveals the Life Orb there. So I am going to fire off this light screen to make it easier in the long run here. So I do fire off the light screen. That will make it easier for Necrozma to help deal against it. We get one Thunderbolt. Not very effective, but it does knock me out there. And Regieleki will be losing his HP thanks to the Life Orb. Tapu Fini can't outspeed Regieleki, unfortunately, so we are going to be using Necrozma. I will have to take... So, here's the thing. If I decide to Dragon Dance, I will have to take 2 Thunderbolts. If I decide not to Dragon Dance, I only have to take 1. The problem here, though, is that the opponent can easily switch into something like Zacian or Salamence or a Landorus to help absorb one of the attacks. So, I don't want to use Earthquake immediately. I could use Earthquake, not Dynamax. Yeah, I might do that. I'm going to do it that way. Oh, it misses. Oh, thank goodness. And that actually pays off. Oh, that just pays off so great. That's awesome. We love to see it. We love to see the misses there. And that's going to be so helpful. Because then the opponent, all they can do now is they'll bring something like Salamence or they'll bring something like Landorus. They'll hit me. I get my +1. I get my weakness policy boosted. Lapras comes out. Okay. Lapras will most likely use G-Max Resonance. I wouldn't want to ram into its weakness policy, but it looks like I might need to. I could fire off a Dragon Dance now. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll fire off a Dragon Dance now. Calling out that it is... Okay. What?! Who saw that coming? Who saw the Sheer Cold coming? I did not. Oh my goodness. Is Lapras Choice Scarfed? That's ridiculous, man. I did not anticipate Lapras to fire off a Sheer Cold. Like, that was probably your best bet to knock me out. I wondered if I Dynamaxed if that would have made a difference. You know? If I swear, if you have a Choice Scarf, I'm so angry right now. Okay, I had a weakness policy. Ooh, this is actually great. That's actually kind of cool. That was a great trade. Thank you, Tame. We got this. We got this. Man, actually, we might have actually gotten an advantage here. I naturally outspeed here, so... yeah, that weakness policy trade was actually very lucky. With the light screen up, that means I get a free +2. So it's funny enough, we were originally going to have Necrozma be the sweeper, but now it's going to be Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini will... If Lapras Dynamaxes, then it will be a little bit harder, though. So it doesn't Dynamax. So we are going to take that. We don't get frozen because of the Smack Star of the Misty Terrain. But we do get a fire off the Smack Starfall. And that'll be enough to knock out... Oh, not enough. Not enough, but we're close. I am going to go ahead and fire off one more Max Starfall here. And then it depends on what their last Pokemon is. We got this. Yeah, this might be it. We could do this. That Sheer Cold just... Oof, that threw me for a loop. I did not anticipate that. The opponent could also do something very foolish, like they switch out Lapras for something else. Lapras Dynamaxes. That actually is bad for the opponent, because I can easily knock out the Lapras, because now Lapras gets rid of the choice card, right? When you Dynamax, you lose the power of the choice card from choice band, so you can freely move moves. Look how much HP Lapras has. Lapras naturally outspeeds a max, underspeeds a, okay, max guards, whatever. But that's just one turn. You have used up one turn of Dynamax for nothing. You max guard. Then I'm gonna fire off a Max Starfall right here. Like, I'm just gonna fire it off again. There's no downside. You just wasted one turn, right? Whatever the opponent has in the back, they are afraid to lose it. So this is great. That means it could be a Salamence and it could be a Landorus. And if it's one of those two, then I just fire off an Ice Beam. I'm at +2. Lapras gets knocked out here. Right? But the problem is, you banked on so much. Reflect's over. That's probably what they were trying to aim for. Like, hey, I want the Reflect to be gone. And so it is Zacian. Ooh. Okay, never mind. I think that might be enough to knock me out. Let's be real. I do get down with my Tapu Fini. The best move I can do is Surf. I won't outspeed, I don't think. Yeah, Behemoth Blade is going to do a lot of damage here. I might not be Dynamax, but it's just like a really strong attack. It's like 100 base or something. Ah, we were close. We were close. That's okay. Good match. That Sheer Cold, man. That Sheer Cold took me by surprise. Hey, you can't outrule it. It's part of the game. They missed the Thunder Wave, so I guess it's fair they got the Sheer Cold. Alright, well, that is a total of, I think they'll tell me. It'll take some time. Do you want to continue? Okay, alright. I'll let the viewers decide, because I usually don't like to end on a loss, but... Alright, viewers, you got one chance, one shot. I'm going to hang out here for a quick second. Do you want us to continue? We'll do one more fight, if you say yes. Totally up to y'all. Totally up to y'all. Alright, I'm going to give you guys... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you guys... I don't know if all of y'all saw this. I have a new intro for my battle. So it takes about a minute to play the whole thing. So I'll play the intro. Y'all can check it out. And if we get a chat that says, yes, one more battle, then we'll do it. But if not, no biggie. We can always come back. Alright, check out this cool intro, and then we'll decide afterwards. Alrighty, folks. Well, it doesn't seem like we want to continue for now, but no big deal. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. It was awesome to have you guys here on the channel. Man, we had a blast. Let me tell you, this team is very fun to play with. And I honestly was surprised that I used Tapu Fini and Regieleki more than I used Corsola and Quagsire, especially because I use these two a lot in the playtest of the team. So, been really fun to play with this team. That was an awesome battle right before this. That last battle was close, but yeah, that sheer cold, hey, you know, it happens. It happens. Let me go ahead and go into full screen real quick to thank you guys in person again. We got the Dragon Crown up. I will say this. I am not the Dragon Crown. Hey, King, you drop this. This is your crown, guys. Y'all are the Dragon Crown. I'll have to, I might color it. You know what? That might be our project tomorrow. I'll make it like Pokemon themed. And we'll wear that tomorrow and the next day for the Dragon match. Uh-oh. Hang on, folks. Looks like, hang on. Okay, looks like we back. Looks like we back. Okay. Okay, it said that I dropped frames for a second. Okay. Well, anyways, I just want to say thank you guys again for tuning in. It was so much fun. Huge shout out to all of you guys, and especially huge shout out to Daxman45, this boy. I need to have a better shout out system. Dax, you gotta hook me up. I gotta get better at Nightbot. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Definitely check out Dax's stream. As soon as the stream ends, we go back to his, we check it out. So, until next time, guys, take it easy. And can you just promise me you do one more favor? Make sure you have a wonderful day. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye.